right, I'll just let everyone grab a seat. Cabinet members, please take a seat. All right, good morning, everyone. This is exciting to have you all with us for our Readiness for the Opening of Schools press conference. Dr. Rogers has a lot of updates and information to share, so I am not going to talk for long, but just want to welcome you all. Hope you had a wonderful summer and are ready for the 24-25 school year. So with that, Superintendent Dr. Rogers.
Good morning and thank you. Thank you for joining us for our back to school opening press conference. I'm excited to provide updates on our school system's readiness to welcome back over 111,000 students on Monday. Before I begin, I want to welcome some special guests we have in attendance. Tiara Booker-Dwyer, Chair of the Board of Education, Christina Pumphrey, Vice Chair of the Board of Education, Student Member of the Board, Ugoma Chike Kali, Member of the Board, Jane Lichter. Member of the Board, Felicia Stileski. Member of the Board, Emery Young. Senator Ben Brooks. Councilman David Marks. Delegate Eric Ebersol. Matt Horn on behalf of Delegate Cardin. So since I know your names, I just looked at you. Now I have to get back on the script. Our union representatives, Brian Epps representing AFSCME, Jeanette Young, president of ESPBC, Ben Forstenser here for TABCO, and Chris Bussetti for OPE. We also have Ramona Basilio representing the PTA Council of Baltimore County. We also have Marietta English representing NAACP Baltimore County. Well, thank you very much for joining us and for your unwavering commitment to Baltimore County Public Schools students, staff, and families. Also want to welcome Mark Bell representing the Chief of Police. Summer break is truly coming to an end, and in less than a week, we will welcome back more than 111,000 students for the 2024-25 school year. We have literally spent all summer preparing for their return, and we are ready to kick off what I know will be an incredible school year of learning and growth for all Team BCPS students in our 176 schools, programs, and centers. On August 16th, just Friday, I had the opportunity to connect with more than 800 BCPS principals, administrators, and central office leaders at our annual administrative and supervisory meeting on our shared vision and priorities for the 2024-2025 school year. Over the last year, we have targeted resources and streamlined our efforts in 4 system priority areas: academic achievement, infrastructure, safety and climate, and highly effective teachers, leaders, and staff. This has allowed us to take measurable steps to deliver on our promise to fast-forward student achievement and move our system forward. For this school year, we want to stay the course and sustain the positive improvements that we've made as a system. We are proud to welcome more than 600 new teachers, as well as our veteran teachers, leaders, and support professionals, all who help to make BCPS a great school system. Our staff have worked tirelessly this summer to ensure that we will be ready on day one, and we're confident that this is going to be a great year for our community. I'd like to share a few updates on key areas of our summer preparation. Recruitment and retention. I want to thank our human resources team for their around-the-clock work throughout the year, and particularly over the summer to fill vacancies. Just as this morning, I received a new update, and I'm so pleased to share that we are 99% staffed. With just 102.6 vacancies remaining as of yesterday evening, more than 100 of our schools have 0 vacancies, and 90% of schools who have vacancies have 2 or fewer openings. Over the summer, we held 5 hiring events with nearly 500 attendees. We also launched new television and radio commercials for recruitment. The team will continue to move applicants through the process. Matter of fact, this morning I told them their challenge was to get us under 100 today. Working diligently with the remaining agencies, we'll also continue to work with Kelly Education, our partner agency, to place qualified long-term substitutes in buildings. We know that key recruitment and retention strategies include providing competitive pay, opportunities for growth and promotion, and a supportive and inspiring climate and culture. We have made significant improvements in this work, including implementing a new compressed salary scale, which increased our teacher starting salary and placed our school system among the top in the state and increases career earnings, launching, in collaboration with the Baltimore County government, the Diverse Teacher Recruitment Scholarship, which provides a $1 million grant to support our efforts in recruiting, training, and retention of diverse teachers and women in STEM fields. Also, implementing system-wide professional learning communities across our schools and offices to strengthen collaboration and foster continuous improvement, which will ultimately ensure that our staff achieve better results for our students and the families that we serve. Student learning is our core purpose. We are holding ourselves accountable to getting results and making sure that the needs of our students are met and that we work to eliminate disparities in achievement. We're doing this work in a number of ways, including the continued implementation of our evidence-based English language arts and illustrative math curriculum and a new curriculum for multilingual learners. This summer, our new summer programs for elementary and middle school students were aligned to literacy and math curricula, and more than 12,000 BCPS students participated in these programs. Our staff engaged in curriculum writing over the summer. We also initiated a review of our grading and reporting processes and are so pleased to provide critical updates to our staff this week and information to families as a part of our Back to BCPS campaign. We have a robust professional learning plan for the 2024-25 school year and provided more than 30 days of system-wide professional development and training in content and pedagogy this summer. We're excited that 5,497 teachers and paraprofessionals were trained in June in content and pedagogy. That's 7.5 out of every 10 teachers who share common knowledge around clarity, high expectations, and routines. The remaining teachers are receiving part one of their training today as we speak. So with all of the foundational things that we have put in place, I would be remiss if I didn't stress against just how important daily attendance is for student success. BCPS has developed and will continue the Here For It initiative to provide parents and educators with tools and resources to promote and ensure good student attendance. Also new this year, Zello is our new BCPS College and Career Exploration online platform, and it will be available to all of our high school students. Thanks to funding from our state and county partners and with the support of the Board of Education, BCPS continues to invest in capital projects that improve learning environments for children and working environments for staff. We're excited that the replacement Bedford Elementary School and the new Nottingham Middle School will open for students this coming week. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, the renovation addition project at Pine Grove Middle School will also be completed during this school year. While the completion of these projects represents the culmination of years of planning, design, and construction, we've also been busy at work on over 60 capital projects this summer. Those projects include replacement HVAC systems, fire alarm systems, roofs, boilers, chillers, lockers, intercom systems, painting, playgrounds, scoreboards, new secure vestibules, electrical upgrades, mechanical upgrades, and pre-K expansion construction. Both replacement and new capital projects improve our infrastructure. This work is in addition to the 20 grant-funded special projects from our lawmaker partners and summer cleaning and refresh to open all of our buildings ready for students on Monday. I am truly grateful for the hard work of our facilities, logistics, grounds, maintenance, and operation team members. They truly make a difference. We know that a big part of creating the most optimal learning environments for students and staff includes ensuring physical safety and social emotional well-being. We remain committed to providing a safe and supportive learning environment for all of our students. This year, our efforts providing students with access to expanded mental health resources via a new partnership with Talkspace will continue. This is available to students in BCPS ages 13 and older. Additionally, students at select middle schools can access the Cigna School Support Line. This is a no-cost, confidential service for students, families, and staff. The Cigna Support Line provides support when individuals need help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm also pleased to share that with a $7.87 million grant from the state, BCPS will expand access to comprehensive behavioral services for our students through a new partnership with the Maryland Consortium on Coordinated Community Supports. Thank you, Delegate Ebersol. 8 community mental health providers will work with the system to provide a range of services to students across all grade levels to more than 100 schools. These services include therapy, workshops, family education, prevention services, mentoring, family support groups, character education, and more. We're also grateful for the strong partnership that we have with the Baltimore County Police Department and the work of our school resource officers to keep our students safe. We have safety assistants in place in all secondary schools and also have an elementary support model in place. This year, we are adding zone safety assistant leaders to monitor and support efforts in schools and floaters to serve as substitutes and extra support when needed. We will continue to leverage Omni Alert, the firearms detection system that utilizes existing internal and external cameras to spot firearms. We successfully implemented the open gate detection system that automatically screens individuals and their belongings at high school events and in 2 of our alternative schools. I want to acknowledge and thank our partners in the PTA Council of Baltimore County for working with us to build awareness and educate families on the potential dangers of cell phones and social media for students. Smartphones and school time simply do not mix. New this year, 16 BCPS middle and high schools have volunteered to pilot a new program utilizing pouches to restrict cell phone use as a way to reduce distractions and disruptions in the classroom. We're excited to see where that lands, and we'll be sharing feedback at the end of our pilot with members of our community. At this point, we are excited for the school year and really look forward to engaging with our students, staff, and families throughout the year at various community meetings and engagement opportunities that we will have. I invite Ms. Boyende Onijala back to the podium.
So at this point, we are going to start our question and answer portion of this morning's media availability. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. I will come to you with the microphone. Please don't take the microphone from me. I will be holding on to it. All right.
Good morning, Dr. Rogers. You talked about the cell phone campaign. I've talked with Baltimore County Teachers Union and many of the other unions. They're working with you in the coming school year, I believe 5 meetings over the school year to talk about the issue of cell phones. You touched on it with the pouches as being one solution, but this is a more collaborative conversation. Can you expand on that and also just talk about why or the effect of cell phones and how that has a trickle-down effect in educating our students?
Yes, thank you very much for that. So one of the things that we know, particularly after the pandemic, is students have spent some time over-relying on the technology. So at the very basic level, if you are focused on technology in classroom, you're not focused on the teacher and the learning that needs to occur there. Additional to that, you'll know that Baltimore County has joined many other school systems across the United States in a social media lawsuit based on the negative impact of social media and targeted algorithms for students. It's well documented, everything from mental health and targeting students around eating habits, and just negative and disturbing images have had a negative impact on students. And we ultimately know that as a school system, learning is our core purpose. We exist to make sure that our students are learning at high levels. And so we need them away from any distractions. So the teachers can pour into them and they can receive the instruction. And so we're doing this in a variety of ways. Number one, we are making sure that our policy that we have in place around cell phones for all grade levels, that we are making sure that we are adhering to that in schools. This takes all of us to do that, and so I appreciate this opportunity to call on our community members, our parents, to ask them. Many times when students say, it's my mom on the phone, as a former principal and a teacher, I can tell you it is their mom on the phone because I've picked up the phone. So moms, don't call while they're in class. That would help us very much. But we're making sure that from elementary to middle and high school, that we want those phones out of sight during instruction time. In high school, there's a little more flexibility in between the passing of classes and during lunch where students can use that. And so all of our staff members, we've come together to say that we're going to hold each other accountable and hold the students accountable for that. But we also want to take it a further step. We know that some school systems are piloting individual bags, some school systems are piloting the pouch. We also have heard from our families when we put out a system-wide survey that their concern is if there's an emergency, because schools have changed. If there's an emergency, how can their student get to us? And what we've seen in some school systems and some schools is when you use the pouch is placed in the front of the classroom. They're clear pouches that are numbered. As students walk in, part of the routine is you place your cell phone in the pouch in your specific number. Because it's up front, the students always have it in their vision. The teacher always has it in their vision, in their line of sight. So if heaven forbid there's an emergency, you can immediately run and grab your cell phone to access it. But the phone being up there and not near your hands, during that period of instruction, you're focused on instruction, and you simply set up a routine within the last 2 minutes of class when you're writing your homework and things like that. The teacher makes sure that the students come up and they pick up their cell phone. And so that's what we're looking to see. We had 16 schools, elementary schools and middle schools of all sizes, middle schools and high schools of all sizes volunteer to be a part of the pilot. We've ordered these pouches. It comes with training for the teachers. It has to be routine in every single classroom for it to be effective. And so we're looking for that to be, for us to see great results with that. This is an additional to the layer that we had for middle schools, because we know our data tells us that middle school students have the most difficulty. And so we provided boxes for middle schools for the high flyer students that need to turn them in to the office and then pick them up at the end of the day. You're welcome.
Hi, I was wondering, do you know how many athletic trainers Baltimore County Public Schools have, and if there was one on staff when Leslie Noble died?
Thank you for that question. We have 18 athletic trainers out of 24. The Board of Education approved 6 additional ones this year. We have hired all of them. They are on staff and at work. And when the unfortunate situation happened at Franklin High School, there absolutely was an athletic trainer on site.
So the case with Dazon Darien using AI to frame the Pikesville principals raised some concerns just about your hiring process, and I was wondering, with all the new teachers that you've brought on, there's some reports that he faked some of his transcripts. Have you guys made substantial changes to make sure that that doesn't happen again?
We have. Thank you for that. We shared a presentation at the Board of Education regarding upgrades to our processes. And when you talk about documents, one of the biggest upgrades is that we work only with electronic documents that either come from the National Clearinghouse or they come directly from the university. Thank you.
You mentioned that there are the 16 middle and high schools that are taking part in this pouch program. Can you provide the list of schools, and how will you measure the success of this at the end of the pilot program?
Thank you for that question. Yes, we can provide that list. I don't have it by heart to share with you right now. And we will measure it based on the data that we already have. We already have in focus, which is our information system, referrals that we receive, about cell phones and the disruption that they're causing in class. So we can simply compare the data before with the data after. We have no illusions and believe that suddenly, because we have pouches, that there will be no cell phone referrals. So our goal is to make sure that we see the referrals greatly reduced in the schools. And we're also going to receive anecdotal anecdotal data from our teachers when they share with us what the climate is like, what the impact has been of not having those cell phones as a distraction that they're competing with while they're trying to instruct students. And so we're going to get that information and we're going to share it, and it will help us to determine whether we expand throughout the county or we need to move in a different direction.
Hi, Lily from The Sun. Is there a new bus camera safety system or a program like that?
Yes, and on Monday with my partners, the chief of police and the county executive, we will share all of the details. But yes, absolutely, as part of the first day of school.
Bree from WYPR. Just one quick question. How much did the phone pouch pilot cost, if you have that figure?
I don't remember. 15,000. See, it's good to have the chief financial officer in the room.
Okay. And then just an unrelated question. I'm curious about the blueprint goals that are happening this year, the deadlines that are coming into effect. Can you speak to particularly the pre-K sliding scale private provider participation in Baltimore County and what progress you're seeing with that or challenges?
Yeah, so I think the challenges in Baltimore County and across the state around pre-K private providers is having enough private providers who don't just exist as private providers, but they want to follow all of the rules that the State Department is requiring for them to follow to be a part of that program. So that continues to be a challenge for us as a school system. Some of the ways that we try to mitigate that is we provide free training to all of the private providers in our county. We make sure that they have all of the resources and materials that we're using in our schools. We will give them access to anything that will help, because our ultimate goal is to make sure that when students arrive in kindergarten, whether they've been a part of our pre-K, which is greatly expanded this year, starting on Monday, or they've been in a private location, that they all come equipped and ready for kindergarten. So challenges with that. Our state superintendent is really working across the state to try to find ways to incentivize private providers choosing to be a part of that network.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Dr. Rogers, if you could just, two things. One, if you could just expand upon the school bus zones and the traffic signaling, if you will. Over the summer, we covered that they added 5 more cameras in school zones. Just talk about the importance of slowing down in our school zones, and what data have you seen in collaboration with county police to put this out there and try to increase this traffic calming measure to keep students safe?
Thank you for that. I'm glad you clarified which part you wanted me to answer. So as our students come back to school, particularly Baltimore County Public Schools, we have 111,000 students coming back to school, more than 111,000 on Monday. 80,000 of those students ride our school buses. And so we just implore parents, community members, everyone who's out there in the road to watch out for our students. So whether our students are walking or whether they're on a bus, that we need to slow down. I don't want to steal the thunder of the Monday announcement, but in the Monday announcement, we're going to talk about ways that we're incentivizing members of the community to slow down. But we want to make sure that our students are safe. And if that means, holding on for an extra 30 seconds. We're grateful that the county has partnered with us to add extra lights. We're grateful that we have the safety patrols that are out, as well as crossing guards in all of our areas. These are different ways and measures that we're taking in partnership with our local partners to just really prioritize the safety for our students. And so we just ask everyone who's out there on the road, the kids are coming back. We want them to be out there every single day coming to school. And so we just ask you to slow down and be cognizant, because it truly makes a difference. Even one student that gets injured because of someone rushing is too many students. So thank you.
And just to follow up, in covering you since you've become superintendent, I remember you said you were going to get these stakeholders together to come up with this plan. You presented the plan. Then it was a year in. You told us the progress of the plan. And you also reminded everybody that it usually takes 3 years to see real change in all of this. After the end of this last school year and getting updates on that and the progress that still needed to be made, you had a plan for the summer. right, with community partners, you know, the hiring, you just gave us a good update on that. Tell me your personal confidence as a leader of this school district going into this second year where you really can see this plan kind of either work ahead of schedule or just be right on time according to what the stakeholders have come put together.
Thank you for that question. I honestly consider it a privilege to lead Baltimore County Public Schools. And my joy, my personal joy, is in seeing all of the pieces across all the divisions come together. I am so glad that you reminded everyone to manage expectations. Definitely, we are seeing growth in the right areas and trending in the right areas, but we're looking for, as I talked to administrators and supervisors on Friday, we're here for the long game. We're here to make sure that our students, as a result of the experiences that they have with us from pre-K through grade 12, that they are better as a result of those experiences. And so we must, even if we see some early gains, we must continue to invest in that infrastructure and lay that foundation. And so personally, I have been so thrilled and proud to see the 30 days of professional learning with, you know, the incentives from ESSER funds. There was some skepticism around asking people to come over the summer for training. They're not coming over their summer, especially if you're not inviting paying $75 an hour, which we didn't, and thousands of people came. And so I am personally thrilled about what that means for our students, what it means that as I'm out there visiting, as my colleagues are out there visiting, as principals and assistant principals are in classes, what it means that we're going to see. It's been more than 12 years since we've level set across the system so that the same words mean the same thing, that we talk about high quality teaching and learning, particularly post-pandemic. What does every student need to receive no matter what level? And we're able to do that this summer. And as I said, another group of teachers, they're in training right now this year. The partnership that I've seen in Baltimore County Public Schools has been absolutely incredible. And so I think that's what invigorates me, and that's what motivates me to keep getting up and keep getting in the work, because everyone who's sitting in here, even, you know, media who sometimes have to ask the tough questions, which I understand and it's fine, has been really a part of this work and has been invested in Baltimore County Public Schools. So less about me, but more about the we and the work that everybody's doing in their respective areas that's truly making a difference. And it makes me excited to be up at 5, to be on camera at 5 on Monday. So thank you.
So I know that school overcrowding has been a concern, and I was just wondering if you have the numbers on how many schools will start the year over capacity, and then how you plan to make sure that doesn't impact education.
So I don't have that number. That's something that we can share with you. We did provide a report to the board this spring in terms of how many schools were overcrowded. It was less than 10. Schools that were overcrowded. I was recently at the beginning of this press conference having a conversation with Councilman Marks. We were talking about the overcrowding in the Northeast, and virtually that has been eliminated. We talked about our largest, or one of our largest high schools that's starting the year with only 2% overcrowding compared to what it used to be. And so we're making some significant gains in that area. And that's been part of some of the, you know, capital project work that was happening over this summer. I can't say enough how grateful I am to partners across the system, not only what we're doing in the schools, but the other side of how we make a schoolhouse run, that they've all, you know, leaned in and been doing the hard work for students, and we're ready for Monday. So thank you for that.
We've done some stories about a Baltimore County resident who was removed from a board meeting. He feels as if he was targeted for standing while he has video of other people standing during board meetings and they weren't removed. Do you have any particular reasoning to believe that you may consider changing the standing policy or revising the standing policy at board meetings in the future?
I do not.
Maria, WMAR2 News.
Good morning.
Good morning. You've given us a highlight reel, basically, of touching on various areas that you've had to cover. But out of all of that, what is the biggest challenge that you're facing in the coming school year?
Good question. I think the biggest challenge is for everyone, not just school system members, not only students, not only staff members, but everyone in the Baltimore County community to come together to really support the needs of our students. I would say that's the biggest challenge, because there's a part of this work that certainly lays squarely on the arms and the shoulders of the school system, but we educate the whole child, and everything that they experience in a day, in the evenings, on the weekends, comes out and has an impact of what happens in the school. And so really our biggest challenge is to make sure we get this message out around chronic absenteeism. We need our students in school, and we need everyone to push that message to them, our partners, our external stakeholders. And then when we're in school, we can do that important work. And then when students are out of school, we need all community members to support them, like, you know, was probably more traditional a few decades ago, where everyone would rally around. You see a student, you're asking them where they are, where they're supposed to be, how can I help you? That's what our kids need, especially now, and pulling them away from the social media and giving them that real human interaction. I would say that's the biggest challenge, that we all need to wrap our arms around these 111,000 plus students on a regular basis to make sure that they're cared for. Thank you.
We'll probably take two more, so.
Okay. Yes, back to the cell phones.
Yes.
Your policy, have you guys figured out your disciplinary reaction to that? And I asked that question because I have a granddaughter in middle school, and I'm finding out they don't always follow the rules. So how do
No. Middle school.
I'm amazed how creative they get.
Absolutely.
And she's in Georgia, so the idea is disciplinary. How do you guys plan to handle that when you find these students who won't follow that cell phone rule? Meaning they go as far as bringing more than one cell phone.
Yes, they are creative, absolutely. And middle schools was as a result, a direct result of our data, why we invested in the boxes for middle schools, because middle school students tend to have the most difficulty with following the cell phone rules. Our middle school principals also came together and they created a tiered system for how to respond to cell phone infractions. And so that's information that is shared in every school, not only with the students, but also with the parents. So, you know, schools usually start at the lowest level in terms of a reminder. At the beginning of the year, all students hear about the expectations, and then they move up, progressive discipline. And that's why in some of our middle schools, our students have to actually turn in the cell phone at the beginning of the day and then pick it up. It's not our goal to suspend or expel students for using cell phones. So we need to come to that middle ground where I would say, taking the cell phone away is what we're going to have to do when a student just simply insists on not engaging in instruction and staying on that cell phone. But I don't think it would be likely, unless something else happened as a result of that, but I don't think it would be likely that you would expect that, the fourth time you used your cell phone, now we're going to suspend you. But we use progressive discipline. We bring in the parents and the guardians, and sometimes the parents and guardians are the ones who have to come and pick up the cell phone at the end of the day. And so that makes for an interesting ride home. So I've heard.
Wanted to follow up. Sorry, hi.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry, just wanted to circle back to the Franklin High School football player. Do you have any further updates surrounding the circumstances or cause of his death? And could you also just talk about the law that requires you to have athletic trainers in the field, what you are required to follow, and what's in place currently in the county school system?
Yeah, so we have athletic trainers. We have 18 athletic trainers that we hired as full-time in our school system. We also have, for the remaining schools, some of them have certified athletic trainers who are on staff, and we have 2 schools where we work with other schools and EMT to provide that support for those 2 schools. And so we're fully compliant with the law, as well as we have athletic directors and, as you know, health professionals and things of that nature. I would not be commenting on the circumstances of that unfortunate loss of a student. I will tell you, as a school system, we worked immediately with all of our partners and our Department of Health to be involved and make sure that we are supporting students. But we have AEDs at every one of our high schools. We have athletic trainers. We have people who are trained coaches. We follow a hydration regiment for our students, concussion testing, and a lot of information that we share proactively with our families that they have to go through their own modules. And I see some parents in the audience shaking their heads that they have to go through their own modules before students can be a part of our athletics program.
All right, Bree again from WIPR. I'm just following up on a question that was raised during the board meeting last week or 2 weeks ago about the Omni Alert system and just sort of like what data or evidence you're using to track or monitor that system's success. Any like further information you can give about that?
Absolutely, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak out to everyone on Omni Alert. As everyone knows, Omni Alert is a weapons detection system, and what it does is if there are, whether it's a traditional weapon or the characteristics that you need to put together for the more creative weapons, if that is out, it sends an alert. That alert is immediately verified by a human on the other end, and then they forward a message to a group of individuals that we've identified that include the police department, staff in the schools, members of our Department of Safety. The reason you have Omni Alert is for the community at large to know that our schools are secure. We have such great partners in Baltimore County government that we've sent out a message to over 800,000 residents in Baltimore County to let them know Omni Alert is on 24/7. So that means on the weekends when you want to go play at a school, don't even bring the water gun because that will trigger an alarm, and it has. And so we have data in terms of the alarms that have been triggered. The Baltimore County Police Department have put a system in place so that there is 24/7 monitoring of those alerts and responses. Our executive director for safety, he receives all of the responses as well as our safety managers. But really the work is proactive and it is preventative. And so the fact that we are not in a place where, unfortunately, we've seen some other systems face tragedy where people have made some very poor decisions based on what they think is or is not the infrastructure of schools, to me, says that we're moving in the right direction. We certainly have the data around the false alerts that have come up, and what that does is tell us that Omni Alert is fully operational. And so, we're looking to keep schools as safe places. We're looking to leverage technology and other ways that while the society has changed and that we need to have extra layers of support, we want students to just feel like students and enjoy their school experience. And so Omni Alert is one of those tools that allows us to do that. You're welcome.
So we know that students in Baltimore County schools have struggled with math on state test scores and then also graduation rates not hitting the goal. I was just wondering what you guys are doing to kind of improve that this school year.
Yes, thank you for that question. For graduation rates, I'll let you know that for last school year, Baltimore County was one of the few school systems that improved. And we expect to see the same thing when the class of 2024 results come out, that you see further improvement. And that's really, based on the work that's happening in every single one of our high schools with central office and school level teams to follow students from the very beginning. A lot of our work has been around ninth grade, where we know statistically ninth grade is the most important year and the most challenging year for our students. And what the data tells us and the research tells us is if the higher percentage of students that can matriculate to ninth grade successfully, then you have a higher percentage of students that are likely to be successful in high school. And so new this school year, we have opportunities for students around how they earn credits, around how we provide immediate just-in-time supports for them, really working to monitor them. The counseling department as a whole has a brand new plan for how not only they're going to use Zello, this tool, but how every semester they're going to take account of how our students are doing and then immediately work with the students and families to provide them with the supports that they need, layering on the social emotional support, because sometimes it's not about the academics, it's about other supports and needs that our students have. When you speak about math is an area that we've been very open, honest, and forthright with our community about our new needs there. Baltimore County started a new curriculum during the pandemic, illustrative math for our secondary schools. And so when you roll out a curriculum, not necessarily face-to-face, there are some habits that you need to switch when you're face-to-face. So all last year, that's what the Department of Math spent time doing, getting into all of our schools, standing side by side with teachers, hearing their feedback, providing the professional learning that they need to change some of those practices. And this year, we're doubling down where you can expect. I believe we have scheduled 3 visits for every single one of our secondary schools centered around math, where math teams are going in to not only observe that instruction, to give that feedback. We have internal assessments where we're going to see how our students are doing in real time. And why that's critically important is because those same kids that are sitting in the class right in front of you, when you're starting to identify trends, starting to identify specific objectives that they're not doing well in, we can do what we need to go and make changes and go and provide direct instruction to those students next week as opposed to next year's group of students or next semester. So really that focus on professional learning communities to focus on our data and respond to it right away, I think is going to make all the difference for us in terms of what we're seeing with our math. But again, as was reminded earlier, it's not going to change overnight, but we will see progress. Thank you for that question. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for your time this morning. Thank you, Dr. Rogers, for very thorough updates. I know my friends in the media, you may have some follow-up questions, so you know how to find me. I'm happy to connect you with more resources. But we want to wish everyone an incredible 24-25 school year. If you have any children, students in your lives, please wish them a really great school year as well. And we really look forward to partnering with you throughout the school year to support all Team BCPS students. So have a wonderful day and happy school year. Thank you.